Hey guys, so it's time for another read aloud. Last time we left our characters, Alex and Connor. They accidentally got themselves into goblin and troll territory. That's not a place you want to be if you remember Froggy's warnings. So now they have actually been kidnapped by the goblins and the trolls, and they've got themselves in kind of some hot water. That's an idiom, isn't it? Yeah. They've got themselves in a sticky situation. So let's see how they handle it. You guys ready? As the cart went through the room, many of the trolls and goblins hooted and hollered at the twins. Some threw bits of food at them. Alex and Connor held on to each other tighter than ever, both trembling with fear. The goblins and trolls were all grotesque and dreadful. They had warts and sharp teeth and horrible hygiene. They were the type of monsters Alex and Connor used to have nightmares about when they were younger. Sitting on the king's platform was a little troll girl about the twins' age. She had a round face with a small snout, and her hair was worn in pigtails just below her tiny horns. She was sitting with her head resting on her hands and seemed to be bothered or lonely. She didn't appear at all interested in the activities around her. She looked up at as the twins passed her and gasped when she saw Connor. This took him by surprise. "What is she looking at?" Connor asked. "Do you think she wants to eat me or something?" The cart turned a corner and descended down another long tunnel. That word descended keeps popping up in all of our read-alouds, doesn't it? I think we've talked about that 4 or 5 times during this story. Do you guys remember what descended means? Remember we talked about descendants? Descending means going down. Good. Do you know what the antonym of descendants would be? If descendants means going down, the opposite would be going up. It would be ascending. You're ascending up. Good. They were so deep underground that they wondered if they would ever make it back to the surface. The cart entered a small and dim dungeon with a row of cells in it. Other slaves were imprisoned inside the cells. Men, women, children, and elderly alike. They all looked exhausted and were ghostly pale. They were all silent and cowered at the sight of Eggcorn and Bobblewort steering the cart into the room. If they're cowering at the sight of Eggcorn and Bobblewort, those are some crazy names, aren't they? If they're cowering when they see them, how do you think they feel towards those two characters? You're cowering when you see them. Yeah, that would mean they're scared of them, right? So do you think Eggcorn and Bobblewort are very good guys? Probably not. Eggcorn and Bobblewort cut the net around Alex and Connor and yanked the bags out of their hands and aggressively forced them inside the cell. "Get in there," Eggwort said, and slammed the cell door shut behind him. "What do we have in here?" Bobblewort said. He took the twins' bags to the table on the side of the room and dumped all their belongings onto it. Uh-oh, hold on. What is inside of there? What type of belongings do they have with them? Think about what they've been gathering. The items for the wishing spell. Bobblewort said. He took the... Oh, I don't read that already. "Stay out of there," Alex said as she watched helplessly. There for the entire room to see was the glass slipper, the lock of hair, the chunk of basket, the map, the journal, the dagger, and the sack of gold coins, and everything else the twin had been carrying with them. Thankfully, the troll and the goblin only seemed interested in the dagger and the sack of gold coins. Do the dagger and the sack of gold coins play any part of the wishing spell? No, they don't. The coins are just money, right? And then the dagger would be like kind of defense or like a tool. I think they used it to cut the piece of the basket, didn't they? I think so, if I remember correctly. They took those with them and dumped everything else in a pile of waste on the side of the table. "Rest up. You'll have a long day tomorrow," Bobblewort said, and shared a laugh with Eggcorn and they left the room with their cart. All the other slaves stared at Alex and Connor through their cell bars. They had sympathy in their eyes, so sorry that the twins were about to experience everything they had endured for however long they had been there. "Does anyone know how to get out of here?" Alex asked, but none of them responded, as if they had been trained not to speak. Even the children were silent. "How is this happening?" Connor grunted. He violently shook the bars of the cell, but they didn't budge. "That's no use," a voice said behind the twins. "Those bars are made of pure stone." Ooh, think about how heavy that would be. Alex and Connor turned to face the prisoner occupying the cell next to theirs. Crouched over in the darkest corner of a cell was an old man. He was thin and had a long gray beard and tattered clothing. "There's got to be some way out of here," Connor said. "I have heard every man and woman say that when they were first brought here," the old man said. "But sadly, there isn't." "How long have you been in here?" Alex asked him. "Years," the man said. He leaned forward and the light fell on his face. His face was tired and ragged, and his face was as tired and ragged as his clothes. So, it's comparing his clothes to the way his face looked. Comparing two things using liquor as is it's a simile. Good job with your figurative language. He had a wondering eye, so the twins couldn't tell which of them he was speaking to. "Say, don't I know you two from somewhere?" he asked. The twins knew this wasn't possible, but the man seemed convinced, and, for whatever reason, the man seemed oddly familiar to them, too. "I don't believe so," Alex said. "We're rather new to this area." "I could swear it," the old man said. "Are you sure I never traded you a magic flute for a chicken? Or perhaps a singing flower for a lamb?" "No, I'm sorry, but we've never traded anything with you before," Alex said. And then she realized who he was. The wondering eye, the long beard, the raggedy clothing. Could it be? She pulled Connor aside. "Connor, he's the traveling tradesman, the one from the journal." Connor couldn't believe it. "Are you sure?" he asked. "Sir," Alex said, kneeling down to him, "are you by chance known as the traveling tradesman?" The man had to think about it. Obviously, the years of enslavement had taken their toll on his mind. "Yes, I believe that's what they called me," he said. He was happy to be reminded of a time when he wasn't a slave. The twins were so pleased to hear this. "Ask him if he knows what happened to the man who wrote the journal," Connor whispered into Alex's ear, and she nodded. "Mr. Tradesman," Alex said, "do you remember a man coming to you and asking about the wishing spell?" "The wishing spell?" the tradesman asked. At first it seemed he had no idea what they were talking about, but then recognition dawned on his face. "Why, yes, I do. He was one of the last customers I did business with before I was brought here. Silly lad. He talked about wanting to travel to another world, and I thought I was mad." Now, what do you think mad means in that sentence? Does it mean like mad, like angry? What do you think mad means in that context? Yeah, think about like the Mad Hatter. That's a good context to use there. How does the Mad Hatter? Yeah, sometimes we use the word mad to mean like you've gone crazy. Not necessarily the nicest thing to say, but that's what the term can mean too. "Did he ever make it?" Alex asked. "Did he find all the items for the wishing spell?" "I don't know," the traveling tradesman said. And the twins slumped. "I never saw him again. So it's possible." He looked up curiously at them. "Why do you ask?" The twins looked at each other. They didn't know what to tell him. "Don't tell me you two are chasing after the wishing spell too?" he asked. They looked at each other guiltily. Connor leaned down next to Alex and began asking questions of his own. We're trying, but we don't know everything we're looking for, Connor said. The tradesman laughed. No one does. That's the beauty of it. Some people know the descriptions of the items it requires, but no one knows what they are for sure. Like Hagatha, Alex said. She only knew what the riddles were. The man she told had to figure out what they were on his own. But he could have been wrong. What if we found Hagatha and asked her for her opinion? Connor began. Hagatha's dead, the tradesman said. Dead? Alex gasped. How did she die? She fell into the thornbush pit, the tradesman said. What thornbush pit? Alex asked. Good heavens, child, are you daft? After the curse was broken on the sleeping kingdom, all the thorn bushes and shrubbery that had grown around the kingdom was cleared out and dumped into a large and deep pit, the tradesman said. Hagatha was collecting some of the thorn bush for her home and fell in. That's awful, Alex said. She called for help for days, but no one would help her. No one wanted to help an old hag, the tradesman said. Just before she died, Hagatha cursed the thorn bush so that it would grow onto anything or anyone near it and pull it straight to the bottom, where she was trapped forever. That's intense, Connor said. Since then, however, it's been used as a wasteland. People from all over the kingdom journey to drop off anything they never want to see again, he said. I wonder if there's anyone else we could speak to, Alex wondered. Whatever journey you were on, I'm afraid it's over, the tradesman said. Once you're here, you're here. And there is nothing you can do about it. He turned away from them. A commotion came from up the tunnel leading into the dungeon. Trolls and goblins led the men and women who had been serving in the tunnels in the common room back into their cells. They looked as if they could sleep for a year if permitted. Time for sleep, a troll ordered, and then extinguished all the torches in the room with a bucket of water. And if anyone makes a sound, no one will be fed tomorrow. The trolls and goblins left the dungeon chuckling. Their room was pitch black. Alex found Connor in the darkness, and they rested beside each other. I just don't want Mom to worry, Alex said, with big teary eyes. The longer we're in here, the longer she's going to be alone. I'm sure Grandma's with her, Connor said. They probably have the entire police department looking for us. It'll be an interesting conversation when we get home and tell her where we've been this whole time. Thanks for being positive, Connor, Alex said. Despite the little comfort her brother gave her, Alex cried herself to sleep. Connor couldn't sleep. He couldn't stop thinking that just a week before, he had been safe and sound in his own bed, fearing nothing but schoolwork and Miss Peters. And now, here he was, in the dungeons of another dimension, facing a life of slavery. How quickly times had changed. And now remember, sometimes we have symbols in the book, and I see this apple. And we have the apple. Does anybody remember what that's going to signify for us? Yeah, good memory. It's when the setting's going to change, isn't it? Connor had just dozed off when he suddenly awoke. So remember, setting can be a time or a place, right? So we're having a time jump here. Connor had just dozed off when he suddenly awoke. He felt like someone was watching him. He opened one eye and saw, standing on the other side of the cell door, holding a single candle, was the troll girl they had seen in the common room. She had been watching him sleep. Can I help you? Connor asked, very creeped out. Would y'all be creeped out? Some strangers just standing there watching you sleep? A little creepy, right? What's your name? The troll girl asked him in an airy and engaging voice. Why do you want to know? He asked. Because I'd like to know everything about you, she said, with a dreamy smile that made Connor feel sick. I'm Connor. Who are you? He asked. My name is Troll Bella, she said. I'm a troll princess. My father is the Troll King. Do you have a girlfriend, Connor? Oh no, Connor thought. She had a crush on him. He was suddenly so grateful for the bars between them. I can't say that I do, Connor said awkwardly. It's hard to meet people after having been recently enslaved by trolls and goblins. Oh, I know, Trollbella said with big flirting eyes. Trolls and goblins are the worst. I hate living here. I would move away if I could. Everything is so unorganized and everyone is so mean. And don't get me started about troll boys. They don't know how to treat a lady. I'm sorry to hear that, Connor said, hoping a goblin would walk in and take him away to work in a tunnel and save him from this situation. I'm just a hopeless romantic myself, Trollbella said, batting her eyelashes and twirling her pigtail. Can I call you Butterboy? Definitely not, Connor said. Connor? What's going on? Alex said, waking up. Who is she? Trollbella asked. Her playful expression fell into a threatened frown. Relax. This is my sister, Connor said. Hi, Alex said, very confused about what was happening. I don't like her, Trollbella said, pointing at Alex. Alex was taken aback. Had she done something wrong? She grows on you, Connor said. And if I had to be enslaved for life with someone, I'm glad it's her. Have you enjoyed your stay with us so far? Trollbella asked. Not really, Connor said. Was she kidding or just stupid? We'd really like to get out of here if you could help us, Alex said. I'm not talking to you, Trollbella yelled at Alex. She then turned her head slowly and smiled at Connor. I may be able to give you freedom in exchange for something else, Trollbella said. What's that? Connor said. Both the twins would have been on the edge of their seats if they weren't on a dirty dungeon floor. A kiss, Trollbella said, staring passionately at Connor. Connor gulped. Well, I guess we're going to be slaves forever then. Trollbella frowned. Alex hit Connor upside the head. Kiss her, you idiot, and then we'll be out of here, Alex said. Don't hit my butter boy, Trollbella said. And I never said I would let you go. I only said I'd let him go. I think he'd be more inclined if you promised to let both of us go, Alex said. No, I wouldn't. Please don't speak on my behalf, Connor chimed in, but neither of them was listening to him. Trollbella's nostrils flared up. She didn't like negotiating. She turned around and disappeared without saying a word. Way to go, Connor, Alex said. That may have been our only chance of escape. There's no way I'm kissing that, Connor said. Freedom or no freedom? You're asking way too much of me. What do you guys think? What would you do in Connor's situation? Kiss the troll or be enslaved forever? I think I'd take one for the team and kiss the troll. Right? He could, disinfect his lips afterwards. I don't know. But enslavement forever kind of sounds worse than, 2 seconds of your life, you know? Get it over in 2 seconds and be on your way. Poor Connor. Uh-oh. I just glanced down and saw what's about to happen. The twins both jumped back from the cell door. Troll Bella had quickly returned with a key. She was ready to make a deal. "Pucker up, butter boy," Troll Bella said, and pushed her head up against the bars of a cell door. "I can't do this. I physically can't do this," Connor said. "Do you ever want to see home again?" Alex asked him. Connor looked as if he were going to cry or vomit at the same time. At a snail's pace, he approached Troll Bella with his lips extended. What does "at a snail's pace" mean? Yeah, really slowly. So he is walking up to Troll Bella with his lips extended like this. He wasn't going fast enough for Alex, so she pushed him toward the cell door, and Troll Bella grabbed hold of him through the bars. She planted a big, fat, juicy kiss on him. "Blah!" Connor said, breaking away from her. He was wiping his mouth manically, gasping for air. Troll Bella had a huge grin on her face. "That was the worst thing you have ever done to me," Connor said, pointing at Alex, feeling completely betrayed. "How could you?" "All right, Troll Bella," Alex said, ignoring her brother's dramatics. "A deal's a deal. Let us go." Do you remember the other story that was over a kiss, and it was "a deal's a deal, so pucker up lizard lips"? Do you remember that quote from the story? What character was that? Horned-toed Prince. Reba Jo. She was kind of sassy like Troll Bella, wasn't she? Troll Bella's smile dropped into a scowl. She reluctantly unlocked the cell door and opened it. As she did, Alex caught sight of the other slaves in the dungeon. A few that were awake had been silently and intently staring at the twins. They had never seen anyone be freed before. They hadn't thought it was possible. "You're free to go," Troll Bella said. The twins briskly walked out of the cell. How would you feel leaving all these people imprisoned behind? Oh, that would break my heart, wouldn't yours? Leaving all, especially like the old man that was helping them. Oh. The twins briskly walked out of the cell, but as Alex passed Troll Bella, she swiftly grabbed the key and pushed the troll princess into the cell, slamming the door behind her. "Let me out of here right now!" Troll Bella screamed. "This wasn't part of our deal." "I can't leave without the others," Alex said. She ran around unlocking the doors of the cell. "Everyone, wake up! We're getting out of here. Come on!" She ran over to the pile of waste on the side of the room and retrieved all of their things. Oh, good. I almost forgot in the chaos of all this, I almost forgot the wishing spell items. So thank goodness for Alex, right? "Guards!" Troll Bella howled. "Guards! The slaves are escaping!" "Troll Bella," Connor said, "please be quiet. Would you do that, please, for your butter boy?" Oh, Connor. Troll Bella blushed. "All right, butter boy. For you, I'll be quiet." The slaves all stirred to life. It took them a moment to understand what Alex was saying. They had dreamed of this day for so long. Many eagerly jumped and left their cells, but others hesitated, including the traveling tradesmen. Why do you think they're hesitating? Do you think they're scared? Or do you think that they've just been in the cell for so long that that's all they know? I don't know. "Come on," Alex said. "What are you waiting for?" "Are you two mad? They'll skin us alive if we try to escape," the traveling tradesman said. This worried some of the others, especially the children. Would you rather stay in your cell or die trying to get back to the life they stole from you?" Alex said. Alex's words must have inspired them, because they all gathered around her. Even the tradesman was willing to take a chance for freedom. He nodded at Alex as he joined the group. "Does anyone know the best way out of here?" Alex asked. We need to get to the tunnels, a man said. Yes, the tunnels, a woman agreed. How do we get there? Connor asked. We'll go up to the common room and past the stone ark. The trolls and goblins have built tunnels leading to every kingdom. That's how they get around, the tradesman said. Do we need to worry about anyone catching us? Connor asked. They're all asleep by now, Trollbella said with a sigh from herself. Even the guards. That's why no one came when I called. All right, let's go, Alex said. Everyone be as quiet as possible and help the older and younger ones in the group. Everyone nodded, and Alex led the way out of the dungeon, praying it would be the last time any of them were in this room ever again. Do you think it was more dangerous for Alex and Connor to let out all the prisoners versus going by themselves? Yeah, the chances of getting caught like a big group is a lot larger than just the two of them, right? But do you think it was the right thing to do? I think so. Until we meet again, butter boy, Trollbella said, and blew Connor a kiss. Whatever, Connor said, and then followed the others out of the dungeon. Trollbella smiled from horn to horn. This had been the most exciting day of her entire life. The group of escapees traveled up the tunnel to the common room and snuck past the line of goblin guards. Just as Trollbella had said, they were asleep while standing guard. They finally reached the common room and covered their mouths in horror at what they saw. All the trolls and goblins that Alex and Connor had seen carousing on the way in were spread across the floor, passed out. How are they going to get to the other side of the room without stepping on one of them? Some were snoring, others twitched in their sleep. Even the Troll King and the Goblin King were asleep on their thrones. You could barely see the floor between the unconscious monsters sprawled across the room. Quickly and quietly, Alex whispered to the group, "We can do this. We just have to be as careful as possible." They began tiptoeing around the sleeping creatures. Carefully, they put their feet between the monsters' spread-out limbs, between the broken plates and the goblets across the dirt floor, and between the knocked-over chairs and tables. Every time a troll or goblin made any noise or movement, everyone froze, and their hearts stopped for a moment. If any of the monsters were to wake up and see their slaves walking through the room toward the exit, it would be a disaster. They were almost at the stone tunnel. Alex stopped in the middle of the room and made sure everyone passed her safely and that no one was left behind. Eventually, everyone had made it except her brother, who remained very still in the back of the room. He was staring at the Troll King and the Goblin King with wide eyes and an open mouth. "Connor, what are you doing?" Alex whispered in her loudest whisper. "Look," he mouthed, only a little whisper coming out. "Look at the crown. It's the crown." Alex looked up at the stone crown above the Troll King and Goblin King's head. "What about it?" Alex whispered. "It's the crown for the wishing spell," Connor said. "A stony crown that's made to share, found deep within a savage lair." Alex could feel her heart beating in her throat. Connor was right. It fit the description perfectly. "What are you two doing? We're waiting for you," the tradesman said from the stone tunnel. Alex and Connor looked at each other. They knew they couldn't leave without the crown. "Go ahead without us," Alex said. "Suit yourselves," the tradesman said, and left with the others down the stone tunnel. "I'm going to get it," Connor whispered to Alex. "Be careful," Alex said. Connor slowly moved through the room. He accidentally kicked a goblet, and it made a ding, causing a few of the trolls and goblins to twitch in their sleep. What type of speech is ding? It's a sound words. What is it? Good. It's onomatopoeia. "Sorry," Connor mouthed to Alex as he climbed up to the throne platform. The crown was pretty high up. He would have to climb onto the thrones to get it. He climbed onto the armrest of the Troll King's throne. His left leg was so close to the king's face that Connor could feel the king's warm breath through his jeans. Connor swung his right leg onto the armrest of the Goblin King's throne and reached up for the crown. It was still too high. He would have to jump for it. I feel like I'm getting so nervous. Are you guys? Oh my gosh. Alex had to cover her eyes. Her hands were trembling. Connor jumped and tried to grab the crown, but he was a few inches too short. He jumped again. The tips of his fingers touched it this time. Just once more, this time, the highest jump yet. He grabbed it. Unfortunately, on his way down, he missed the armrests and landed right in the lap of the Goblin King. Ah! The Goblin King screamed. Alex took her hands from her face just in time to see her terrified brother sprawled across the Goblin King's lap, with the crown held tightly in his hands. Connor jumped up and ran as fast as he could, grabbing his sister's arm on the way toward the exit. After them! The Goblin King ordered. Someone grab them! The entire room of trolls and goblins began waking up to the Goblin King's yells. Alex and Connor weren't careful about who or what they stepped on. They ran straight through the common room down the tunnel of stones. Dozens of trolls and goblins chased after them. The twins ran past two horrible statues at the tunnel entrance. The goblin statues suddenly crashed to the ground as they passed it, blocking the tunnel. Alex screamed. Had they been a second later, it would have fallen on them. They turned to see the tradesman out of breath and holding his heart. He had just knocked over the statue that blocked the tunnel. The trolls and goblins had reached the end of the tunnel and were struggling to get past the fallen statue. That should keep them busy for a while, the tradesman said. Now run. Where is everyone else? Alex asked. They fled into the tunnels. They're safe, he said. What about you? Alex asked. I couldn't leave without you two, the tradesman said. I'm old, children. I'd never outrun them anyway. You two still have a lot of living to do. So run, before they get past the statue. Hurry. The tradesman just saved them. We're not leaving without you, Alex said. I'm wanted in every kingdom, the tradesman said between deep breaths. No matter where I go, I'll end up behind bars. I've done a lot of bad things in my day, children. I've made a lot of trades and deals that I shouldn't have. I deserve this. You don't. Now run. Alex and Connor's feet moved before their minds could decide whether to stay any longer. They ran ahead and found a series of tunnels leading in different directions. Each had a sign above the entrance saying where the tunnel led to. Come on, Alex said, and grabbed Connor's arm, pulling him toward the tunnel that said Fairy Kingdom above it. They tucked the troll and goblin crown safely in Alex's bag. We did the right thing, right? Alex asked Connor as they ran down the tunnel. Should we have left him? He wasn't going to come with us. His mind was made up, Connor said. He knew they had done everything that they could, but he still felt slightly guilty too. How could a stranger give up so much for us? Alex said. Maybe he thought trading his freedom for ours would be the only honest trade that he would ever make, Connor said. That's the end of the chapter. Chapter 12 is next time, and it's called The Fairy Kingdom. All right, guys, until next time, bye!